Erica.
And Liana,
Come join us on Patreon.
where you can unlock weekly episodes of videos and
Be invited to Patreon exclusive Zoom meetups.
just download the Patreon app and search for Night Guys Podcast.
Or go to the website www.patreon.com/nightguyspodcast.
You can join for as little as $2 a month for full access.
See you on Patreon. Squeedle deedle deedle doodle doodle doo.
And it's Liana, and this is the Night Guys Podcast. We're here to join you weekly to cover weird and spooky stuff, supernatural, extraterrestrial, cryptid, culty, true crime, and oh my god, tonight I have the hiccups. Only
Cool.
one, though. You only ever get, like,
I would
maybe
do that,
one.
too. It's weird if it's, like, another one follows.
Yeah, I might
like,
have
oh,
two hiccups.
who are you?
And then they go away. Oh, that was unexpected. What a shock.
Get out of here, second hiccup. No one wants you.
The first one I didn't want either.
Oh.
It was unwelcome.
Oh, no.
Before we get started, we have a belated thank you to our latest patron. This is for Chris. Thank you so much for joining our spooky church.
We love you already and can't get enough of you. So
Yeah, you are. We've adopted you, actually.
we've adopted you.
Yes.
Well, we've actually, we've in your honor had you adopt us.
Yeah, that, yes.
Is that what it is? It doesn't matter.
It works.
We'll drink to it.
Yep.
Thank you for joining.
Yay.
You're a welcome member of our Night Guys family. We can't wait to talk to you on Zoom if you so choose to join the hot mess that is
I
Zoom.
feel like she'll join.
I hope so.
I feel like she will. Chris, you better join. I'll be sad if you don't. But anyway, sorry for the delay, but thank you.
Yes.
Also, if you decide to join our Patreon, you will get to see that last week we did something very special, a first for Nightgeist, which is fucking crazy.
True.
It's our first time ever recording together in the same room.
In like 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Wild.
Weird.
It was a good time.
Yeah, we did not know what to do at certain points.
Yeah, that was a good time. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And we also practiced our psychic skills. And
One of us is psychic. The other one,
things happen.
not so much.
But our powers are growing.
I feel like it could be one of those situations where one of us is psychic at one point, and then the other one is psychic at another point. Maybe we just we combine powers and become we like transfer
super
power
psychic.
to one or the other.
Soon we're just going to be Jean Grey and everything's going to be great.
Oh, so good. Just a couple of phoenixes. Phoenix eye?
Phoenix eye.
Sure. What a struggle.
So stupid.
Okay, so that is that. All is all.
If you want to join Patreon, by the way, go to our Instagram, click the link, and one of our link tree options is to join. So it's really easy. You can cancel anytime. It's $2 a month, and there's already like way over 70 episodes that are backlogged. We have videos and all kinds of stuff, and hopefully soon we'll be doing a Zoom, and that's like one of our favorite things to do is like hang out on video with you guys. And
yeah. And soon we will be recording regular episodes with both of us together. It's just I haven't finished moving yet. But I will be back where Erica lives. Back where I used to live. So,
yay!
We're really excited.
We'll have a whole thing. It'll be great.
We'll have something.
It's going to be good. If we're this insane over Skype.
Hey, I think we've done an okay job over Skype.
I just mean like the energy is still this stupid over Skype in the same room. It's
a little hectic.
More.
Yeah.
Marquat.
Marquat.
Seriously? God. I think Stuart Townsend.
Where has he gone?
As Lestat, I think he's my skipper.
He's what?
My skipper. If Keanu is my co-captain, I think he is my skipper.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
How do we feel about...
Oh, boy.
How do we feel about Sebastian Stan, if you don't know who he is?
I think I've already personally said that he was on my dreamboat.
I think he is, for sure. He's Bucky from, like, Winter Soldier, Avengers, whatevs, all those movies where they're all the same movie. Yeah.
Well, this is a little weird, I guess, but I had major crush on young Mark Hamill, and when they did the comparison photo between him and young Mark Hamill, which I think is partially photoshopped a little bit, but I was still like, oh yeah, they're very awesome. Similar. Yeah, so I was 100% on board with that. He is not on a lower level of the dreamboat for me.
No. He's above deck. Is that what we say?
He's not in the engine room.
For sure. He's on the dreamboat. But can I just say, that's really funny that you were crushing on Mark Hamill, because I was not. I loved Harrison Ford when I was little.
Oh, no, I really loved both.
I never liked him to begin with. I like Sebastian Stan, but no.
Whatever. Anyway.
Can I just say, though, in the mall, when little Erica walked by the Sam Goody store, they had a cardboard cutout of Han Solo forever. Mm-hmm. Every time I walked by, I dreamed of buying it, but I had no money because I was like 8.
You're gonna hate me, but I actually had a cutout of both Mark Hamill and I had a cutout from both because they had re-released the old movies as like DVDs, and when George Lucas decided to add in all the horrible CG to everything and make it look like trash. Well, my parents had like bought a car, and I think it was like the Lexus dealership or wherever it was that my mom bought her car had those cardboard cutouts. Why? I don't know, but I told them while we were there buying the car, I was like, are you guys going to keep those? Because they were like all shoved together like this awkward crowd of cardboard standouts. They're like, oh no, we're going to throw them away. I'm like, can I have a couple of those? And they just gave them to me.
That's awesome.
And then my brother's friends, like, they poked holes in them. And it's because little boys are shitty. You know this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not cool.
No. But I still love Mark Hamill forever. Hey, he was the Joker in the cartoon Batman. He's awesome. Mm-hmm. He does voiceovers, and he's phenomenal.
He does a ton. He does a ton of video games and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, still not on my dreamboat.
Whatever Sebastian Stan is, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'll do that. That'll be allowed on board.
Toot toot. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to do my news first then. NASA's Ingenuity helicopter successfully takes flight on the Red Planet. Also known as Erica's butt.
It's more white. But whatever.
I was going to say, because your butt's out of this world. Oh.
Okay. Well, the moon is too. So
that is true.
It counts.
So the NASA's Ingenuity helicopter made history early Monday morning, which would be the 19th today.
Woo!
When we record this for next week. Sorry, guys. It's a little late. So when it took flight on Mars and became the first autonomous aircraft to operate on another world, according to a press release from the space agency, the 4-pound device lifted off the surface of the Red Planet and rose to an altitude of 10 feet, hovered in place for 30 seconds, and then safely landed back on the ground.
Wow.
That's like when I first started working at DJI, they're like, you want to learn how to fly a drone? And I'm like, no, not in front of all these people. They're like, well, you got to try. So I was like, God damn it. So
I'd be like, give me it. Do I get in trouble if I break it? No.
That was basically my thing. I was like, what if I break it? They're like, doesn't matter. We've got more. I'm like, okay.
Ooh. Yeah, and if that's the case,
let's go. But then they only wanted you to let it like hover, like take off, hover, like move side to side, and then back down. I'm like, that's boring. Okay. Mm-hmm. But due to the vast distance between the Earth and Mars, it took around 3 hours for engineers at the space agency to receive the data, which confirmed that the helicopter had pulled off the feat, which lasted approximately 40 seconds. It's so funny, like, waiting 3 hours on pins and needles to find out if that thing just, like, took off. Which, by the way, DJI aircraft, was like my favorite call on customer service. Was they'd be like, I had a flyaway. We weren't supposed to call them flyaways. I don't remember what they called them, like unreturned or something. But, like, you'd go to take it off, and, like, the receiver wouldn't receive the information, and the drone would literally take off on its own. It'd be like, I'm gonna go be with my people, bye.
Gone rogue.
And they would just disappear. It was so funny, because it would be like, I mean, it's not really funny because they're really expensive, and we'd be like, sorry, you're shit out of luck. You shouldn't have been flying close to the airport or whatever.
How far? So you just have to guess the direction? See if it could somewhere?
Like, you could put in a fresh battery, and it would take off flying for, like, 30 minutes in one direction. And those things could go pretty fast. I don't even remember how fast they could go. But they could just take off, and you'd be like, well, there goes, like, $3,000. Bye.
They don't have, like, a GPS on it or something?
They do, but that depends on whether or not the GPS was actually activated and working at the time. Sometimes the system would totally brick for whatever reason. Like if you didn't run an update, or if we ran an update and it bricked it or something. There are all kinds of reasons that shit could go wrong.
Oh, man. That sucks.
But yeah, imagine having to deal with that on Mars, where you're like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm gonna go have a drink, I guess. But I guess this remarkable moment was captured in photographs from both the nearby Perseverance rover, which had shuttled the helicopter to Mars, as well as the craft itself. Containing no scientific instruments, the device's purpose on the Red Planet was to serve as proverbial proof of concept to show that autonomous flight could be accomplished on another world where both gravity and the atmosphere are considerably different than that of Earth. That's kind of cool. Scientists say that Monday morning's successful endeavor will pave the way for future advanced aircraft being sent to Mars for more scientific extensive scientific missions. I wonder how much that cost. I shouldn't ask questions like that, but
you mean them having a drone there or flying it?
Them sending the drone to Mars, flying the drone, and then waiting for that data, and then being like, okay, cool, we can just junk that little thing now because that was like the tester.
I mean,
I don't want to know.
NASA just paid $2.6 billion to Elon Musk to have his SpaceX shuttle people to the moon.
Elon doesn't need any more money. He needs to pay taxes. I don't know
if that's any perspective on what the rover, who knows? I'm sure it's a lot.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the end of my news.
Okay. My news. Security camera films baby dinosaur dashing past Florida home.
I watched this video like 10 times.
I love it.
It's super cute.
It's weird.
It's cute.
And it looks real.
I know.
A woman in Florida believes her home security camera captured footage of a baby dinosaur dashing through her yard. According to local media, the scene unfolded outside the residence of Christina Ryan in a city named Palm Coast early one morning last week. She said her security camera picked up the presence of something in her yard and began filming. The oddity in question, as seen in the video, appears to be some kind of creature that runs straight past her house. She said she was, like, really confused over what the animal in the video could have been. Understandably so, if you watch the video. Because it is, like, you'd be
It looks
really,
like it's
really
on,
weirded out.
like a little tiny T-Rex. Because it looks like it's on its hind legs running. And it's got a
skadoodles,
big old
like,
tail.
away into the abyss.
Its tail's way too big to be an alligator.
Yeah, and it
like
moves
wide.
To,
yeah.
It's like, it's weird. She said any animal we can come up with that would be walking, quotes, at 3:40 in the morning wouldn't walk this way. Left with no solution to the mystery, the baffled homeowner mused, maybe I've watched Jurassic Park too many times, but if I see a raptor or other small dinosaur, like, this is it. Ryan claims that her assessment has been echoed by several of her friends who also saw the video. Some have argued that it's a bird, but she dismisses this explanation because she says whatever it is appears to have front legs, like a little velociraptor, like little T-Rex arms. As such, she declared, I'm sticking with raptor as the identity of the oddity. Meanwhile, people online have offered all of their wonderful opinions as to what it could be. And one person said it's a dog with a reflective collar.
What?
Another said Komodo dragon. No. It does not run like that. What's your best guess? I mean, If it's not a little baby dinosaur, then it almost looks like it's one of those people in like a puppet costume.
Right.
Because that's how much it looks like a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody's dog's loose in a dinosaur costume.
Oh, have you ever seen those videos of the guy that would dress his dog up like a giant spider and he would scare the shit out of people?
No,
it was really funny. I mean, I was always worried about the dog because I'm like, what if somebody has like a taser or a gun?
Oh,
I was really scared. I, of course, go to the worst places.
So this is the thing that's confusing to me, besides the fact that it might be a dinosaur, is that, okay, when it runs by, you definitely see the tail. Mm-hmm. The head seems to be a little above, like, the tush. Mm-hmm. Like, and on top of its head, it's reflective. But it doesn't seem like eyes.
It's like a big square. I've paused it multiple times while looking at this video. And it looks like a big square, so maybe it's something that escaped.
And it's too far back, I feel like, to be eyes, personally. And the legs underneath the tail are a totally different color. I don't know. Could that be a person?
I'm trying to see if there are any military bases near Palm Coast that it could have, like, escaped. There are a few.
I don't know.
I feel like it must have escaped from something with that big old reflecto thing on its head or its neck.
I'd have to look at costumes that people can wear to be dinosaurs and see if there's any reflective part that's on it.
But it looks like it's shorter than a human would be. I don't know.
I can't tell height from it enough, but
compared to the door of her house, because she's got the camera pointed out, it looks like maybe four
around in a dinosaur costume. It'll be so. But they'd be bent over a little. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's a dino that escaped from a base. I'm gonna go with military experiment.
I'm going some jackasses running around with dinosaur costume in the middle of the night. The like has its own fan to inflate like dinosaur.
Mm-hmm. I love those.
Those are fun. I do like those a lot.
They're cute.
I support them.
I'm gonna start.
Okay.
With the Franklin Castle, because the story is not super long, and then I have some other ones that I can talk about after you talk about your things. Your stuff.
Tell me things.
So this is like super overdue, because we talked about this like 3 or 4 weeks, or maybe 5 weeks ago. I don't know when, but with my move and with your getting sick, everything's just been crazy. Mm-hmm. So here we are talking about the Franklin Castle. This is on Franklin Boulevard in Cleveland, Ohio.
Ooh, plot twist.
So supposedly this place is the most haunted house in all of Ohio. And there have been whispered rumors about the Franklin Castle since like it was built by Hans Tiedemann. Yes. Who had built it. So basically as soon as he built it, everybody's like, it must be haunted, because it's kind of spooky looking. It looks like a castle. It's probably pretty out of place for Ohio.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Tiedemann was a successful German banker who had founded the Euclid Avenue Savings and Trust and was looking for a unique home that would also reflect his newfound success as a banker. So why not a castle? So turning to the famous architectural firm of Kudell and Richardson, he got what he was looking for when completed the 4 stories, Jesus. Turreted Franklin Castle became complete with close to 30 rooms, a grand ballroom that took up the entire 4th floor, and even a carriage house. The outside of the house was adorned with gargoyles, and intricate carvings filled the interior. The top floor of the castle also provided wonderful views of both downtown Cleveland and Lake Erie. So upon completion, Tiedemann moved in with his wife, Louise, into Franklin Castle, along with his mother, oh my gosh, her name, Wiebecca.
Wiebecca.
If you have another child, you will name her Wiebecca. It is Wiebeka. Wiebecca. What's happening?
What about Wiebecca?
Okay, fine. I don't care how you pronounce it. That's up to you. Your mom. And they also had several servants move in. The first few years in Franklin Castle were happy ones for the Tiedemann family and were soon marked by the birth of several children. However, a dark cloud would come to settle over the castle. No. Beginning in 1881, tragedy began to stalk the Tiedemann family. Tiedemann's mother, Wiebecca, and his daughter, 15-year-old Emma, died within weeks of each other.
Oh, no.
Even though Becca's death was from natural causes, obviously, because she's probably old, and Emma's was believed to be a result of diabetes. That's terrible.
No.
The deaths nonetheless gave birth to not only the legend of a curse, but also rumors that Hans Tiedemann was a controlling, evil man.
I buy it.
I was going to say, do you believe it?
Why not?
I mean, if you're going to build a castle like that, you probably have some quirks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
you have to.
You don't build a castle like that just because you're a nice guy.
Man, I want to live in a castle. I know some people will be like, too many rooms.
Well,
give me all the rooms.
That's the thing. If you live in a castle, you don't live in the castle just with your family. You live with several families or something like that. Because you'd be like, that's your half of the house, this is my half of the house. That way we're not worried about one half being creepy haunted or like, I don't know, some weird shit
I
going
like
on.
the Hearst Castle philosophy of you like always have people visiting.
Okay.
And then when you are the new guest, when you all eat dinner at the big ass table that's there, you're at the far end. And then as a new guest comes and one
down.
leaves, you get closer to the head of the table where you are. And then when you're at the head, that means you've overstayed your due and you need to leave next. And that's how they rolled. I thought that was the best.
That's great.
I was like, this makes sense. So I didn't play that.
Okay.
You've outstayed your welcome, but it's been nice having you.
Please leave.
Our new guest is currently headed in by plane.
In the wings.
So you must go.
So, legend has it that it was during this time that the infamous hidden rooms and secret passageways were constructed inside the Franklin Castle. Why they were created is something open to debate. Some say they were created by Tiedemann simply as a way of taking his wife's mind off the recent death of her daughter. Others, however, say the rooms and passages were designed so that Tiedemann could commit heinous crimes, including murdering his niece, a servant girl, and even his own daughter Emma without being detected.
Wow.
There are still others who hold firm to the belief that Mrs. Tiedemann herself...
Wait, did he really do that?
Those are rumors. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm assuming that a poor servant girl died and that his niece must have died in the house also, but I'm not... It's hard to find, like, a good, solid, complete story of this place. You get a lot of, like, just little blurbs here and there, which I feel like is because a lot of it is hearsay. But anyway, so there are others that hold firm to the belief that Mrs. Tiedemann herself had created the passages so that she could sneak past her overbearing husband undetected. So when Louise Tiedemann passed away in 1895...
That doesn't make sense.
Well,
because it's like you're going to have construction there. Obviously, someone's going to notice construction.
He's still maybe working at the bank every day. So she's like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Get in here. Make that shit and I'll clean it up and get out of here while he's at work.
Buy it.
I don't know. Maybe. But if your house has that many rooms, you're probably going to be like...
How many were there again?
30?
Maybe.
If you're on, like, one half of the house and there's some weird shit going on the other side of the house, you might not notice. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like you would, but... Maybe she was in, like, a laudanum stupor or something. I'm making shit up. I don't know. Okay.
that's the hearsay. It's happening.
So anyway, when Louise Tiedemann passed away in 1895, her death was also attributed to the curse, or worse yet, murder at the hands of her husband, Hans, who remarried shortly thereafter.
Don't like that.
After Louise's death, Hans sold Franklin Castle to a local brewer named Mühlhauser, and then he moved out. Some say that even Hans's leaving the castle was not enough to escape the Franklin's castle power, and in 1908, he died suddenly. Incredibly, his death brought about the end of the Tiedemann family tree, as the rest of Hans' entire family, including his grandsons, had all passed away before him. God, this is sounding like a Nanny Doss story. God.
This is not good.
No. So, apparently the curse took some time off during the Mühlhauser stay at the castle, but in 1913, it came back with a vengeance when Franklin Castle was sold to the German Socialist Party. Officially only used as a place for parties and meetings, rumors quickly started to spread that the Germans were actually using the castle as a place to spy. It's even said that years later, a German shortwave radio could be found hidden up in the rafters. The infamous hidden passageways were said to have been used by an underground group of Nazis to machine gun a large group of people During Prohibition, a new tunnel was supposedly constructed that ran from either the basement of the castle or the carriage house all the way out to Lake Erie. Got a couple more stories of some weird shit that happened here. Enter the Romano family. In January of 1968, so we're skipping way ahead in time, the German socialists sold Franklin Castle to James Romano. Almost immediately after moving to the home, family members began experiencing strange things. The Romano children would often speak of their newfound friend they would play with up in the fourth floor ballroom. Oftentimes, the children would ask their mother for extra cookies for their mysterious friends.
Cookies, please.
Mrs. Romano also began to feel the presence of Mrs. Tiedemann in the house and began to hear organ music coming from different areas of the home.
Oh,
Yum.
cool.
Looking for explanations, the family contacted the Northeast Ohio Psychical Research Society, a local team of ghost hunters, to investigate the castle. If the stories are to be believed, some of the hunters ran screaming from Franklin Castle in the middle of the investigation, and then shortly after the investigation, the Romanos turned to a Catholic priest for help, who allegedly refused to bless the house because of what he felt when he stepped inside the castle. So after enduring several more years of ghostly activity, the Romanos were like, fuck this place, we're leaving. And in 1974, was sold to the family who would single-handedly bring the legend of Franklin Castle to the forefront, the Muscatellos. So, by all accounts, Sam Muscatello was all too eager to cash in on the legends of the Franklin Castle. So he offered tours of the house, which is awesome and smart. He also invited members for the media for walkthroughs. So during a live segment on Cleveland radio, host John Webster had a tape recorder pulled from his shoulder and thrown down a staircase. Another time, during the taping for a local television piece, crew member Ted Opasek witnessed a ceiling light spinning on its own. Muscatello also began searching the house from top to bottom for more of the alleged secret passageways. His first discovery was an old still that seemed to be left over from Prohibition days. The most shocking discovery, however, was found behind a hidden panel in the tower. Tucked neatly inside was a pile of human bones. Although few denied that real human bones were removed from Franklin Castle, who they belonged to and how they ended up there was long been debated. So, of course,
yikes.
Most took the bones as proof that Hans Tiedemann was indeed involved in murderous activities. Some, however, believe that Muscatello himself stashed the bones there as, quote, proof of the hauntings, because obviously he was trying to sell tours, so that would be a really, really great sell. The final verdict by authorities was simply that the bones were indeed human and that they were very old. Good job, cops.
This is all bones here. I mean, what do you want?
I think they're human. So, yeah.
Case closed.
So, unable to make the Franklin Castle haunted success story they were looking for, the Muscatello family finally decided to sell the Franklin Castle. And then the castle quickly passed through a series of owners. And then it just passed through people. Like, people just kind of, like, trying to sell the furnishings, other people trying to make it back to original, and this one guy, finally, his name was Michael DeVinco, sold it in 1994. So it passed through a lot of hands. For the next 5 years, Franklin Castle stood empty until April 1999, when Michelle Heimberger, who had been fascinated with the house since she was a child, purchased it with the intent of restoring it to its former self. In addition, Heimberger launched FranklinCastle.com, and chronicles her renovations and plans for the castle. Sadly, what started out as an exciting and fascinating revival of the legend and lore came crashing down on the night of November of 99, of November something. They lost the actual date. When a series of fires broke out inside the castle. And then when firefighters arrived, they found a man unconscious inside the building and carried him to safety. So in a strange twist of events, the man was eventually arrested, charged, and convicted in setting the fires that destroyed almost all of the fourth floor ballroom.
The house he wanted to refurbish?
No, this is some other guy. So, like, this girl, Michelle, was like, oh, I love this place. I'm going to restore it and turn it into, I think she wanted to do, like, a bed and breakfast or something. And then this random dude was just in there setting fires. And it destroyed almost all of the fourth floor ballroom. And at one point, people were talking about turning it into, like, a dinner club place and, like,
fourth floor.
Yeah, and they were...
How weird. So when they had parties, you had to walk up 4 floors to do the dancing?
I guess, but, you know...
That's odd.
You'd think that maybe, like, on each floor, they'd be like, okay, everybody, have a drink. Maybe they have like a drink station.
4 floors up. I don't need that.
Maybe they had a lift installed.
Have dance floor, like, straight shot.
Maybe.
Lots of open French doors.
Maybe
out
they
to
had
the
a
verandas.
lift. Who knows? But anyway, so it's, I think, still sitting vacant. Like, a couple of people have tried to buy it and redo it, and they were talking about making it a club, and then they didn't. I think they've talked about doing it as, like, a B&B. I don't think it's happened. Like, nothing's really happened with this place. So it's just...
It does not want to be recirculated.
No, I think because Ohio doesn't need a castle. Or at least
I think
Cleveland doesn't need this castle. No,
but
this
the
castle...
ghosts there don't want it.
Ghosts say, no way.
Mm-mm.
So that's the Franklin Castle house.
Interesting. I would like to go.
I don't think we're allowed to.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's like a fire hazard.
People can
like,
go in there
like
and just light fires willy-nilly, then we can go.
That fool was arrested, dude.
Yeah, because he lit fires. I won't be lighting fires.
Yeah, but you can get in trouble for trespassing.
No, they'll just give me a little slap on the wrist. Okay, so because we picked Franklin's and our Franklins were the same, I decided to pick a different place because that would be silly.
You could retell the whole story.
Franklin Castle, y'all. Let's go. Buckle up.
Tell me more.
No. So, I am talking about this crazy-ass place called the Limp Mansion / factory.
L-E-M-P?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lamp. And, close the lump, but it's a lamp. This place, man, I stumbled across it, and it's just...
Where is it?
Got a lot of bad things happening. St. Louis.
Let's go.
We should. This you can visit. They got haunted tours with a lady who is very well known to only do this tour. She is a character, and I like her. She seems like fun. You can eat on the first floor of the house. It's a good time.
Yes.
So, the factory you can tour too.
Okay.
But it sounds very scary. I don't want to go.
You don't? But you want to go to this house?
No, I do.
Oh,
I want to.
I don't.
It sounds very, very scary.
Oh,
but
okay.
I want to go.
Okay.
So, like every haunted place ever, it's supposed to be one of the 10 most haunted places in America. So, it's a mansion in Missouri. Okay. And it's got a sad past. Over the years, this place has been transformed from the stately home of millionaires to office space to decaying into a rundown boarding house. It's been everything.
So random.
Yeah, I know. It probably was short-lived. And now it's a fine dinner theater.
I'm in.
So I think they do murder mysteries on the first floor.
Even more in.
I know. A restaurant and B&B. So, it was originally owned by the Lemp family.
I keep hearing Limp, and it is not good.
It's a bad name, I feel like, almost no matter what. But it is what it
Sorry.
is. With Johann Adam Lemp, who arrived in St. Louis from Germany in 1838. He was the building was for a grocery store.
Okay.
I think originally... and it's now on Delmar and 6th Street, I believe. He sold common household items, groceries, and homemade beer.
Yes.
The light golden lager was a welcome change to the dark beers that were sold at the time.
Love it.
And the recipe was handed down by his dad, and it was super popular that in just 2 years, he gave up the grocery store life and then full-blown built the brewery in 1840.
Awesome. Good man.
And it was like right basically across the street. So if you go to the murder mystery dinner, you can go to the haunted tour and just walk over to it.
Nice.
He first sold beer in his pub that was attached to the brewery, and he introduced St. Louis to its first lager because he's German, so he wasn't about the ales or whatever. He found that the brewery was too small to handle both production and storage, and found this is what makes this place so crazy perfect for haunting. He found a limestone cave south of the city limits. The cave, which was located at the present-day corner of Cherokee and Demental Place, so I guess no, where he started wasn't at the house. So now he's here, and it could be kept cool by chopping ice from the nearby Mississippi and depositing it inside, providing perfect conditions for his beer.
That's still really creepy.
So the Western Brewing Co. was what he had, and it continued to do super well into the 1850s, and one is the largest in the city. And by 1858, it won first place in the big fair that they have there.
Nice.
A millionaire by the time of his death,
Sheesh.
Adam died 1862, and his son William took up the brewery and expanded a ton on it.
Good for him.
He purchased 5 blocks around the area of where the storage house and the caves were.
Uh-huh.
And in 1864, he had the new plant completed on Cherokee Street and Carondelet Avenue. He was always expanding it to meet product demand because it was business was booming. The brewery eventually covered 5 city blocks.
Damn.
Because it's that big.
That's huge.
Oh my goodness. By the 1870s, the family symbolized both wealth and power, and the brewery controlled all of St. Louis' beer market, a position it maintained until Prohibition. Uh-oh. In 1868, Jacob Fiekert, William Lemp's father-in-law, built a house that was super close to the brewery. Yay! In 1876, William purchased it for his family, utilizing it as both a residence and the office. So now we have the haunted house. That is your haunted brewery.
Okay.
While the home was already impressive, Lemp immediately began renovating and expanding the 33-room Victorian home.
33 rooms. Why?
It's a big house.
Okay.
Very big. Very big.
Oh my goodness.
From the mansion, he straight up built a tunnel.
No.
From the basement through the caves to the brewery. So creepy.
No tunnels.
And spoopy. When mechanical refrigeration became available, parts of the cave were converted for other purposes, including a natural auditorium and a theater.
Oh.
This underground oasis would later spawn a large concrete swimming pool.
What?
They had hot water piped in from the brewery boiling house and a bowling alley.
Wow.
At one time, the theater was accessible by way of a spiral staircase from Cherokee Street. By the mid-1890s, the brewery gained a national presence after introducing the popular Falstaff beer, which is still brewed there today, but by another company.
Oh, wow.
The brewery was the first to establish coast-to-coast distribution of its beer.
Shit.
At the same time, he was building his own business empire. William Sr. also helped Pabst, Anheuser, and Busch get started. So he's
he's like the grandpa of beer.
Pretty much.
Beer grandpa.
Yeah. And in the midst of his success, the Lemp family experienced the first of many tragedies. This is where things get real bleak real fast. When Frederick, William Sr.'s favorite son and heir apparent, died in 1901.
Okay, you can't say that they're your favorite. That's how you create a curse.
Right. He's only died 28.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said he was your favorite.
Frederick, who had never been in extremely good health, died of heart failure.
Oh,
Just
no.
insane. He's so young. The devastated William was never the same, beginning a slow withdrawal. He was rarely seen in public after his son's death. On January 1st, his closest friend, Frederick Pabst, who you would think other beer friend, also died, leaving William indifferent to the details of running the brewery. He's like, I don't even care about anything anymore.
Oh.
Though he still arrived at the office each day, he was nervous and unsettled. His physical and mental health was declining and fast. February 13th, 1904, he shot himself.
Oh,
with
Jesus,
a 38 caliber
horrible.
Smith & Wesson. Done. He didn't want to anymore, which is really sad. In November 1904, his son, William Jr., took over as a new president. Cool.
Reluctantly, because he's not the favorite.
Inheriting the family business and this crazy amount of cash, him and his lady, Lillian, his wife, began to spend all the money. Filling the house with servants. Gross. The pair spent huge amounts on carriages, clothing, art, pretty much anything you can think of. They were like, I'll buy it. The wife was super pretty. She had a very wealthy family, too, so she had her own money. Mm-hmm. And her and Junior married in 1899.
Lovely.
And then William III was born on the 26th. Before long, Lillian became known as the Lavender Lady.
What?
Because of her fondness of lavender. Ooh.
Whatever.
I love purple too, girl. In addition to her lavender attire and accessories, she went so far to have her carriage, horses, harnesses dyed lavender.
She was
all in.
Poor horses.
They're like, maybe they like purple, but I don't.
How would they have done that in that time and not have it be damaging?
Oh, you mean the dye on their skin from the harness?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I just think horses should hang out and be friends. In the beginning, Will enjoyed showing off his, quote, trophy wife, but Will was a, quote, player, born with a, quote, silver spoon in his mouth, end quote. So many quotes. He was used to doing and acting as he pleased. So,
Shocker.
When William began to tire of his beautiful wife, he demanded that she must spend her time shopping.
Oh, well.
She's like, we agree. I'm over you, and I already have like 3 guys on the side, so you want me to go shop more? Okay.
Bye. Give me money.
Allotting her $1,000 a day.
Wow.
He gave her, and remember,
like
she's got money of her own, too.
And that's like mucho money back then.
That's insane. He gave her an ultimatum that if she didn't spend it, she would get no more.
Wow. I imagine that would get actually kind of hard to do after a period of time. Just start
giving
it away and be like, Jesus, I can't spend it.
In the meantime, Will was busy running the brewery day and night, pursuing all manner of decadent activities. He had super crazy baller status parties in the caves below the mansion. He brought all the people over, lots of ladies of the night, for, quote, entertainment with the quotes again, enjoying the pool and the bowling alley and all the beer. So he's just ruining this business that his dad
That's
worked
so sad.
so hard to build. And everybody loved him. But
to a degree, I'm sure he was a total douchebag.
Everything got up with him. He had a son with a woman that was not Sweet Lillian, the Lady of Lavender. Today, there's no official documentation that this kid existed.
Oh, God.
But it sounds like he did. However, the rumors that this boy was hidden in the attic.
No.
His entire life.
No.
Yes. According to the historian, according to the historian of, I think, today, I'm not sure when this historian is. There's a historian. His name's Joe Gibbons. Okay. And he interviewed a former nanny and a chauffeur who worked at the mansion super long ago, and both of them verified that the boy didn't exist and was housed in the attic quarters that also housed the servant's room.
That he did not exist, or that he did?
They said he didn't.
Okay, did not.
No,
okay.
He did. Sorry. He did exist.
Okay.
And that's where the servants lived.
Okay, so he lived with the servants.
I guess they tried to pretend that maybe it was like a servant's kid, maybe, or I'm not sure. Or they just took care of him.
Got it. Okay.
So they thought that, it was maybe one of the prostitutes who he hooked up with, or maybe a mansion, servant. Mm-hmm. What they do know, it sounds like, is that the boy was born with Down syndrome. Oh. And at that time, if you were Down syndrome or
they would just institutionalize you no matter what.
Yeah, it's just an embarrassment instead of just loving your child like you should. So he was hidden away from the world in order to cloak the, quote, shame known today, or known back then if you have a kid with this. So he's one of the presences that people think haunt the house. Which
the
would
little
make sense.
boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. I'd be like, fuck everybody.
Yeah, how... Finally, William Jr., when he was so messed up, tired of his trophy wife altogether, he filed for divorce in 1908. So she didn't take this step with all of his goings-on. Could be nothing more than a sign of the times. I guess she wasn't into it at first, it sounds like. But the court proceedings surrounding the divorce became a really big scandal, with all 4 of the newspapers devoting extensive front-page coverage to the messy affair. The trial opened in 1909 to crowds that flocked to the courthouse to just, like, love the drama.
Nothing else going on.
Lillian wasn't good at spending $1,000 a day. She almost lost custody of William, which is crazy. Because of because of a photograph that was presented at the trial that showed her smoking a cigarette.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. She almost lost her kid. Little Billy the third. Because she had a cigarette. Probably because she was stressed to all hell. Because of her shitty husband. In the end, she did get to keep custody. But soon retired from the public eye.
Oh, good.
The only time that she was ever seen wearing anything other than lavender was on the final day of her divorce. When she appeared entirely in black.
Oh, dang.
I know, isn't that kind of funny?
I like her.
With the divorce, Will's troubles had only just begun. In 1906, 9 of the large breweries in the area had combined to form independent breweries, and there was a ton of competition. And then his mom also passed the same year on April 16th, which was a tragic death. Though the brewery's fortunes were continually declining, the mansion was remodeled in 1911 and then converted into those offices for the brewery. Everything just went to shambles. Everything started to just deteriorate. Nothing was kept up. And by World War I, the brewery was just barely hanging on.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not good. And then you have Prohibition, and everything got shut down. The people who worked for him learned that it was being closed down the day they showed up to work.
I'm really curious as to how the whole Prohibition thing, like, went down. Because I really don't know. I just know that I just keep hearing, and then Prohibition happened. Okay, well, how was it rolled out? How did they just decide today is the day that alcohol is illegal? Like, how did they go about
and then
that?
Cops.
I know, but, like, how?
And then all those bully sticks running around beating the shit out of people.
That's insane.
They just broke up the parties literally at, like, midnight.
That's crazy.
So the night before, everyone was just
going hard,
raging. Yeah. And while people raged, the people who ran those bars and things were upstairs talking about how they were going to keep it going and make money.
Well,
pretty wild.
I know nothing of it, so thank you for your explanation.
So on March 20th, 1920, Elsa Lemp Wright, his sister, she was the wealthiest heiress in all St. Louis, shot herself.
No!
Just like her father years before.
No.
This will be a theme. She was said to have been despondent over her rocky marriage. Liquidating the assets of the plant and auctioning the buildings, William Jr. sold the famous Falstaff logo to brewer Joseph Greisendick for $25,000. That's a lot in 1922. The brewery buildings were sold to International Shoe Company for $588,000. I read another article. They didn't buy all of it. A lot of pieces got auctioned off. But it doesn't matter. But so a fraction of its estimated worth of $7 million in the years before Prohibition.
Wow.
This place is, I mean,
Prohibition just like shit on everything, on their worth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So everything is really now just over for William Jr. And he is super depressed, started acting like his dad, became nervous, erratic, stayed inside, not feeling good. On December 29th, he shot himself in the heart with a .38 caliber revolver in the very same building where his dad did 18 years before.
Oh, man.
Oh, sorry, Punky. William... Oh, pause. Okay. William II took his life on the main level of the mansion, just inside the entrance to the left. At the time of his death, the room served as his office. He was interred in the family mausoleum in the crypt just above his sister. Jeez. His brothers, Charles and Edwin, had long ago left the family business, so with Junior gone, people were like, guess this thing's over. But Edwin had entered into a life of seclusion at his estate in Kirkwood, Missouri. Oh. Charles had never been... This whole family is just very...
Odd.
Yeah. Charles had never been involved in the brewery and had chosen to work in the banking and real estate fields instead. In 43, another tragedy occurred when William Lemp III died of a heart attack at age 42.
Jesus. This family is cursed.
Yeah, brother Charles eventually remodeled the mansion back to a residence and lived in the house along with 2 servants and the illegitimate child of his brother. Charles, too, became an odd figure as he grew older.
Oh, great.
He became, he developed a morbid fear of germs. He's germaphobe.
Oh.
Very OCD, very compulsive, and he always wore gloves at all times to avoid bacteria and always was washing his hands. It was during his time here that William's illegitimate child, now in his 30s, died at the mansion.
No.
He's now passed. He was buried in the cemetery plot with only a small flat marker with the word Lemp.
God, these people are monsters.
And this was the boy, this is the boy who they hid in the attic.
That's horrible.
From what I've read in other articles, his name was Zeke. Charles became the 4th member of the Lemp family to commit suicide. Now he's killed himself.
Jesus. Okay.
First, he shot his beloved Doberman Pinscher.
Okay.
I hated this part in the basement. Then, climbing the staircase to his room on the 2nd floor, he shot himself. Charles was discovered on May 10th in 49 by one of his staff. He was still holding a .38 caliber.
Why couldn't he just let the dog out into the road?
Time.
Oh.
What's strange is the dog was shot in the basement, but he was found halfway up the stairs.
What?
Weird. Of the remaining family members, only Edwin, who had long avoided the life that turned so tragic for the rest of his family, he's the only one left. He was quiet, reclusive. He had walked away from the brewery in 1913 to just live a peaceful life in Kirkwood, Missouri. Edwin passed away quietly of natural causes at 90.
Okay, jeez. I was please give us a win.
Because he never returned to that freaking brewery ever.
Maybe being close to the brewery was what did it.
But this is what's weird about Edwin. According to his last wishes, his butler burned all of the paintings they had collected through their lives.
What? Why?
These are priceless paintings, as well as priceless Lemp family documents and artifacts. Irreplaceable pieces of history burned, gone by. That was his dying wish.
What the fuck were they hiding?
Isn't that weird?
What were they hiding?
And
they're hiding something.
The whole family line died out with him.
Oh, weird.
Isn't that really weird? So that's the family. And now that they've all passed, the mansion was sold and now it's a boarding house. Crazy. Along with the near... No. Now it's the murder theater dinner.
Oh, right.
Along with the nearby neighborhood, the building began to deteriorate. Haunting tales began. Residents were like, why are things constantly knocking here on walls? Why do I hear footsteps all the time? And stories began to spread, and nobody wanted to stay in this boarding house. And then it became basically just anyone. It was like a flop house.
Oh.
No one wanted to be there.
That's so sad.
In 1975, the mansion was saved by Dick Pointer.
No.
And his family purchased it. They renovated it, made it a restaurant, an inn, and people who worked there were like, no, I'm seeing ghosts, I'm hearing strange things, all my working tools and things, they're gone, and now they're over here. Why do I feel watched 24/7? Here's my 2 weeks notice.
Oh shit, that'd be so annoying.
They would just leave the job site and never return.
No, that's
they wouldn't even get 2 weeks. Since the restaurant that's there today opened, staff has reported all kinds of weird things.
I wonder if that's part of the interview process. They're like, do you spook easily? We have had reports of ghosts.
Right? So apparitions appear, then they vanish, voices, sounds coming from nowhere, glasses being lifted up and flying across the bar through the air. Doors are supposedly locked, and then they unlock themselves.
No.
Lights going off and on. Piano bar. Why do we only hear one note being played sometimes?
Oh.
It's just
I would be so annoyed.
It's just a dong.
Can you at least play something nice? I don't care that you're playing it, but that
just one note.
That one note's lame.
Jesus, no. So obviously people think it's haunted by this family. There are 3 areas that have the most activity: the stairway, the attic. This makes sense.
Obviously.
And what the staff refers to as the, quote, gates of hell, known as the basement.
Oh.
The basement is what is also used, like, that's how you get to the brewery. Mm-hmm. So it's just, like, it's all kinds of bad.
Creepy.
It's like the highway for both haunted places. But yeah, so the attic is haunted by the sun. People say they see him from the street peeking out of the windows. A lot of, like, ghost investigators have gone there. They leave toys in the room. They draw a circle around them, and then they see they've been moved. Like, this is super common, apparently.
Yep.
In the women's downstairs bathroom, which was once William Jr.'s personal, like, area that he hung, and held the first freestanding shower in all of St. Louis, many women have reported a man peeking over the stall.
Ew,
gross.
That's never acceptable.
How dare you? That is so off, like... No, that's off the table. You can't do that. I don't care if you're alive or dead or some other version of something. No. On one occasion, a woman emerged from the bathroom. She returned to the bar and stated to the 2 men she was there with, "I hope you got an eyeful." However, the men were like, "What?" and denied it. And the bartender was like, No, this is a thing.
Ew. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, like, I want to see ghosts. Don't want to see them while I'm just trying to take a whiz.
I'd be like, so mad at that bartender being like, how dare you direct me to the bathroom and not warn me ahead of time? I'm assuming she was like, is the restroom over here? I'm just assuming she asked. But
have fun in there.
You'd be like, yeah, it's over there.
Yuck. Yuck, yuck.
Gross.
I don't like him peeking over either.
Ugh.
Ugh. Like, just his face. Ugh. I mean, I guess it's better than, like, slide on your back under. But then I can kick him in the face. Slide on. You try me, Junior.
Just hit him with the heel of your shoe.
Yep. No teeth for you.
Mm-mm.
So in William Sr.'s room, guests have, like, reported hearing running up the stairs and kicking at the door. I don't like that it's kicking instead of knocking.
Spooky.
That's meaner. When he killed himself, William Jr. was known to have run up the stairs to his father's room and, finding it locked, began to kick the door to get to his dad.
Horrible. That's horrible.
Several years ago, a part-time tour guide reported hearing the sounds of horses outside, which is like right outside where his office was.
Oh, I was like, not outside. Outside, they mean in a house. Okay.
However, when the tour guide looked through the window, nothing was there.
Okay.
No horses. This area north of the mansion and now used as a parking lot was once the place where people tied up their horses. It's been in a ton of magazines, this place.
I think seeing a ghost horse would be kind of cool.
I'm okay with this. I am okay with this. It would be really cool. I want to go to this murder mystery tour. I've heard, and not heard, but read stories of when you go there, if you're doing the, like, seance-y, like, ghost tour on the second, whatever, third, fourth floor, and there's, like, the party, like, diner, like, thing going on. Sometimes drunk people forget where they're going and go up the stairs and then have interrupted the ghost tour when you're trying to contact members of the family. One of the people that is, like, the most common that you can, like, see on the tour and hear is the dog.
Because the dog was wronged.
And if the dog comes out, then that means the owner is, like, nearby. And you can get him to come out.
No.
Creepy. But yeah, drunk people tend to break up the tour.
Well, I mean, they shouldn't host those at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Just
There's all kinds of pictures of people have taken while they've been here of apparitions. I want to go to the bayou. So yeah, that's a Limp Mansion. Mm-hmm. The backstory of this family is wild. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, that's some cool bit of Prohibition history. You don't hear about alcohol history in school, so I like it.
And we should. It's one of the biggest tragedies of today's school system.
Prohibition, agreed. No.
And that double tragedy. I agree.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. I would really like to go. I want to go to a murder mystery dinner. I think it sounds so fun.
I've always wanted to do that. Always wanted to do that.
Me too.
I think that'd be a good time.
It would. God, I'd have so much fun. I would dress up for it.
Oh, I would get completely decked out.
Have to.
Mm-hmm. You must. And it's all about the accessories. It's all about the accessories. Like, your outfit can be, but you have to have the right things with you.
I need all of it. I need that long cigarette. I basically am going to be Cruella de Vil.
Well, I'm just going to read about one more little place, if that's okay.
Sweet. Always okay.
But yes, thank you for sharing about Lemp. The Lemp family.
Poor family.
I know, their family makes me sad. I'm also sad for dog that could have just been let free.
Yeah,
and not
other
involved.
people still live there.
Yeah. All right, back to Ohio. We're going to talk really quickly about the Lake Hope Furnace. Quietly nestled within Lake Hope State Park are the remains of an old iron furnace. The crumbling walls of the furnace are evidence to the structure having long been out of service, but still stories abound of a lonely watchman who shows up for work on dark, stormy evenings.
Oh.
Yes. So, simply standing in front of the furnace, you look at it and you're like, this shit is old.
That's a furnace.
It was in operation from 1854 until sometime in 1874, during a time when the Industrial Revolution was in full swing. So a quick survey of local maps from this time period show an abundance of these types of furnaces, as well as many small towns that sprung up nearby. As time went by, however, these furnaces were obsolete and they were closed down, and which would, of course, turn that town into a ghost town because the work dried up.
No work.
No work, no money, gotta go. So the area, obviously, though, is rich with stories of spirits of workers who never abandoned their post.
Oh my god, no.
Wouldn't that be sad, though? Like, if you're a factory worker, like, it's one thing if you're, like, a train conductor, and you're like, I love trains, these are great, but nobody's like, man, I love this furnace, I'm just gonna come back here and haunt this place forever. No.
This furnace, great.
Nobody, I can't imagine that would be the case.
No.
So legend has it that one of these workers still makes his rounds at the Lake Hope Furnace. The purpose of this furnace was to process iron ore that was gathered from the area's sandstone bedrock, and the furnace operated 24 hours a day, and records show that at the height of its operation, it was churning out to close to 15 tons of cast iron a day. So in order to ensure that the furnace continued operation at night, watchmen were employed to tend the furnace fires. And these watchmen were also responsible for keeping an eye on the engine house and also to protect against people falling into the furnace. Didn't we do a story about somebody that, like, fell into a furnace? At night? Oh,
yeah.
God.
And I remember the guy who ran everybody to death, like, while they were working. He had a really crazy name.
Oh, shit. What was that? Guys, do you remember what episode?
He had a really, like... His name was fitting.
And he was a jackass. He was mean.
He was awful.
Yeah, he scared his employees.
Oh, yeah. He was, like, physically abusive.
It is said that at night these watchmen would light lanterns to aid them in making their rounds, which often took them up along a platform along the top of the furnace, which is how those poor people probably fell in. So regarding a fateful night in question, there are several versions of what actually happened, because of course there are.
Always. Has to be.
One version says that the night was particularly rainy and stormy, and the watchman, while walking along the platform with his lantern, slipped in the darkness and fell into the bubbling ore inside the furnace. Another version has the man being frightened by a bolt of lightning causing him to fall, but perhaps the best known version of the story, and the most romanticized, which I will go with probably the most accurate, has the worker battling his way through a fierce storm in order to make his rounds. The watchman refused to be kept from his rounds and wouldn't wait for the impending storm to pass over. As he made his rounds, lightning flashed around him, creeping closer with each strike. And as the story goes, the watchman was finally struck by a bolt of lightning and then fell into the furnace. Wow. Double whammy for that guy.
Jeez. Can't win.
I know. So while it was impossible to determine if the man was killed by the bolt of lightning or the ensuing fall, all concerned agree that not even death had been able to keep this watchman from making his rounds. And apparently, if you go to this furnace on a stormy night, you can see the ghostly watchman making his rounds. And apparently there have been dozens of reports of a dark figure carrying a lantern walking along the top of Lake Hope Furnace, and some have said that the figure continues pacing back and forth until across the furnace until lightning strikes close by, which causes the figure to disappear until the next stormy night.
I like it.
Yeah. So that's just in a park. So
it's very movie.
Yeah, so if you have any listeners that are from Ohio, you should go visit it and take a picture. Maybe don't go during a storm because I feel like that would just be dangerous, but, you know, tell us what you see. No, don't go during a storm. It's not a good idea. Not a good plan.
Someone's gonna help that furnace. Duty.
Keep it going during the storm.
Got it.
Well, that's all I got.
I like it. Mm-hmm. So many spooky places out there, so little time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We must go see them now.
Oh God, I can't wait. Just need to get my vaccine, and then I'm going everywhere. That's actually a lie. I'm gonna be moving into my house. That's all I'm gonna be doing. That's a lie.
I am going to see spooky things.
I will follow you eventually. I just need to get in my house. Mission number 1. Once that's accomplished, then adventures.
Sweet.
So are we spinning the wheel?
I think so.
Okay. Play that ditty. Okay, what is it?
Shared dream.
Oh, shit.
I'm excited.
We have a shared dream of becoming famous podcasters, right?
It's a reality, baby. I want to hear people who like had a dream and then it came true. You know what I mean? Like it involved them and somebody else, like that kind of shared thing. I want to know about 2 people having the same dream and then calling each other and then like freaking the fuck out because, oh my God, we both dreamt that we were going to meet Keanu and now what do? We must go find him. Logical. Yes, what else would there be? What other kinds of versions of shared dreams are there? I guess it could be more than 2 people. I guess it could be
like a collective group of people.
Yeah, we could do that. What about, I wonder if any of them are reoccurring. I would like to know that.
I think it'd be a really good episode just about spooky ass dreams in general.
Yeah, I'm into it. If you guys have had a weird dream, I would like to know. And so would Liana. So please tell us.
Yeah.
NickIcePod@gmail.com. Do it.
We wouldn't necessarily be able to share it on this episode, on the next episode where we actually talk about this, but we would definitely share your stories if you want them shared on the episode after as like a little follow-up because that's awesome.
Can do a call to action on the socials. So hopefully you wrote in and told us because we'll read it.
But if not, that's okay. There's still time. We will happily read it on the next episode too.
Yeah, we do a listener story.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed learning about some haunted ass places. Some fucked up people.
I need to just address really quickly how intriguing it was for me when I asked people if they're home alone and they hear a scary noise, if they think it is a ghost, like something spooky, or if they think it's an intruder. It was basically tied. I thought that was very crazy.
Oh, wait, did I tell you about my thing where I thought there was an intruder in our new place?
No.
Oh, it was horrible. I arrived to our house by myself on Thursday, and the house is empty, guys. Like, we're getting our floors redone, and the flooring guy was like, you get a big discount if we don't have to move furniture. So we're like, okay, we're not going to move in then. So we're going to wait for you. So anyway, the house is empty. So there's a ton of echoey noise in our house. Like, any movement you make pretty much echoes. Because there's... oh, poor Punky. Because there's no carpeting. It's just laminate floor everywhere. Well, I open the door, I walk inside, and as I'm shutting the door, I hear a clatter of wood, like wood hitting wood, where it sounds like boards hitting each other, and I realize, oh God, there is a crawl space in one of our rooms that goes to a sump pump under the house. So I was like, somebody was in the house, and they know about the crawl space, and they went into the crawl space, and I'm in the house by myself. And that was my first thought. It wasn't ghosts. I immediately thought intruder because I've heard horror stories about people buying homes and like them being vacant for a period of time and like vagrants or people move in or whatever, just shitty people at parties or whatever. So I was thinking like, so instead of like, I put my keys in my hand like Wolverine, I've got my pepper spray and I like quickly poke my head in and I don't see anything in that little crawl space. And I was like, but they're probably down there. So I run into the garage and I get two 2-gallon cans of paint, and I like plop them on top because they're kind of heavy. So I'm like, I plop them on top of there. And as I'm standing there, like listening intently, waiting with like pepper spray and my keys, like ready to attack something, I hear our neighbors throwing wood into a container because they're renovating their house. But it sounded like it was inside my stupid house because everything echoes. So I was like, it sounded like it was inside, and then I felt like an idiot. But then I was still scared of that little spot all day long. All day. I was still like, I'm going to keep that paint there because I don't trust that spot now.
Oh
and that room's supposed to be where I'm going to be recording.
Oh, perfect.
No. I'm fucking horrified now. I'm like, I got to put something heavy on top of it. I don't like it.
I was talking to, shout out Brittany, one of our Patreon peeps, wonderful people, about it. And when I am home alone and I hear a noise, I think both equally, but I'm only really scared of it being a person.
Oh, for sure. I am less scared of it being supernatural and just kind of like, I would really like it if it wasn't, but I'm really scared of humans.
Yeah, I mean, but see, I guess that's what's scary about ghosts is it's like if you're walking in a room, you could have a full-blown body, like, apparition.
Yeah, true.
And then you have, like, a terrifying, like, hopefully short amount of time where it's like, this is not a person, it's a person that's dead.
But then it just winks out of existence and you're like, oh, well, okay, bye.
Yeah, I've been watching Them on Amazon, and that black hat man that they see, I don't want to see him in a room, that's for sure. I have some problems with that show, but that's neither here nor there. It's good, though, but there are some things that did not need to be in it. I haven't finished it yet. We were both disgusted and had to turn it off.
Oh, like what?
I don't need to see the Cats in the Bag episode scene. That's for sure. Yeah. That did not need to be recorded and put on tape ever.
Nope, it really didn't. It did
None of it. No thanks. That made me want to throw up. But I don't need to see animals being murdered either. Thanks so much. Don't need that.
Yeah, because I know I started to watch it and I was like, oh man, that's so good. But I was also really horrified. There were parts that I was just like, I can't watch it. I'm really upset. Like, this is so upsetting.
Bobby almost dry heaved. We were not pleased.
I know that Sean,
too awful.
I don't remember what part it was. It might have been that part where Sean was like, why are we watching this bullshit? And he got like mad. Like, because Sean doesn't respond in like the kind of way. He just gets like angry. And he's like, I don't want to see this bullshit. This is fucking crap. Why are we watching this? Why don't we watch like The Office or something? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I used to feel that way.
I get it.
Like, this is stupid. Do we need this? Yeah, now I'm more like, it's too close to home. I don't like it.
Not my babies.
Yeah, no, please don't do that.
I'm going to go hug Honey
It's good, but I just don't need long, extended visuals.
No, so no animal torture. We stopped it.
Watched AP Bio, which was great. There's an episode about the town, and they have to they celebrate Katie Holmes Day, and it was great.
What is it?
Katie Holmes Day.
No, but what's the show?
AP Bio.
Oh, God.
It was so funny. I loved it.
Sean and I have just been rewatching Breaking Bad, and now he's rewatching Better Call Saul.
I can't get into it.
Oh, we love him.
I love him
so much.
He's really funny.
It's just so really upsetting, comedian. The bullshit that he does. And just like, man, you are setting yourself up for failure every time. It's that kind of drama is really, it's too much suspense for me. I can't handle suspense. Yeah.
Bobby watched Breaking Bad, I think he's seen it 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah, Sean's obsessed.
I don't rewatch things. I'm good.
I think I've told you about how rewatching stuff is a anxiety coping mechanism.
Yeah, it is, but if I've seen it doesn't distract me enough.
Not for everybody, but for some people, like for me, I find it extremely comforting and it calms me. Like, even if it's a horror movie, and Sean's like, how can you watch this craziness? And I'm like, I've seen it before, and I like it. And he's like, Insidious? Really? He's like, or Sinister? He's like, those are children murdering people.
Lawnmowers.
I know, lawnmower to the dome.
It's not possible.
Gotta be a ride-on lawnmower.
God, and even then, suspect.
It's got to be a really beefy one, like a gator.
And I do want to see like
the old timey
push one.
All they would do is like paper cut them to death. They're like, nah.
I'd hurt myself.
I know you try to hurt someone else. You're like, oh, my foot.
Toe's gone now. This is not how I saw it happening. Shouldn't have worn flip-flops.
Oh, you and me in flip-flops all the time.
Best friends. I love those guys.
They're the best. They're just so comfy. The only shoes that
I need my toes out.
Gotta free the toes. Free the tootsies.
Always. Mm-hmm. Free those little puppies.
I'm so excited that it's getting warmer so that my toes are free all the time. And not miserable cold. But I still tolerate them even if they're cold. I'm like,
100%.
Sean's like, why don't you have socks or slippers on? I'm like, I don't know. As long as my arms are warm, I'm fine.
Yeah. The feetsies are usually pretty good.
Oh, my feet are always cold.
Oh, same.
I just tolerate it.
I just don't want to wear socks. I don't like wearing socks. It's too constricting.
Claustrophobia.
On my feet. I don't like socks. I wear them maybe like 3 times a year.
That's crazy.
I'm not into it.
It's okay. That's your thing.
I mean, if I'm wearing a boot, I have to.
You must. But... Boots are so fucking uncomfortable, even with like little low socks. Oh,
yeah, you can't do that because then they roll down and then
cut your
annoying.
Ankles. You're like, ah, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, this cannot be done.
Well, with that fashion advice, guys, we're gonna go now. And please join us next week when we talk about shared dreams. We can talk about our collective shared dreams of everything being normal and just drinking in public again.
Yes. Also known as my front yard.
And also mine. I'm so excited about this front deck that I've got. And that our front, like, across neighbors like to walk out and talk to us with beers in their hands. We're like, we are already friends with you.
One of my favorite memories of walking around is walking the dogs, and somebody's dog got out. It was a really sweet old pup, and the guy was so sorry. I was like, it's okay, they're older, it's fine, no biggie. He's like, I'm so sorry, like, I have to repay you. And I'm like, what? And he's like, hold on, do you like beer? Do you like cider? And I'm like, I like cider. And he's like, 1 second. And he came back and opened me a brand new cider.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh no.
You're like, let your dog visit anytime with cider.
Yeah. It was a good cider, too. He got it from Costco.
Costco cider.
I asked. This was like 2 years ago.
Whatever, they probably still have it because Costco.
Probably.
Great.
It was yummy. I love cider.
All right, guys. Join us next week. This is the Night Guys Podcast. I'm Liana.
I'm Erica.
All right, bye.
Bye.